Well guys, as you can see, each video will have a different setting in this new house until I get used to it, until I figure out where looks best. I'm doing some tests. So I set this up quickly, like I thought, oh, this looks nice and today we'll go with this style. Here, kids are angels on earth, right? Contradictions exist, okay? Many people have had tough times with kids out there in the world, and that's something that creates a lot of discussion. It's in the field of psychology, even on the internet. Why is it that criminal children are like this? What happens early in life for a child to already commit a crime? Today we're going to talk about 3 cases of children who shocked the world and still shock people today. But for us to understand all of this, we need to start from the beginning. Let's go. Mary Florabel, born May 26, 1957, was a child from the United Kingdom. From a young age, she experienced physical and psychological abuse. Her mother was a prostitute, and according to reports, her mother tried to suffocate her when she was a baby. Still on May 25, 1968, a day before she turned 11, Mary took a 4-year-old boy named Martin Brown to an abandoned house. And 2 days later, this boy was found dead, apparently from suffocation. The case was considered solved up to that point. Okay, guys? Shortly after, on July 31, 1968, Mary Florabel and a friend named Norma Bell, who are not related, took another boy named Brian Howie, who was 3 years old, to a vacant lot. Mary strangled him and then she cut his body into pieces. She did all of this, guys, with a shoelace and a pair of scissors. When they discovered this crime, they also found out that Martin Brown, the first one, was also killed, strangled by her, and was murdered by her. Mary was tried in December 1968 and was found guilty of manslaughter with diminished responsibility. So she was sent to a reformatory. In 1980, she was released, and today she lives under a legally protected identity. But from all indications, she's free, she's living free nowadays, and she hasn't caused any more trouble. As far as we know, right, folks? As far as it's public, that's it. At 11, she already looked like someone who had lost her childhood. That leads us to a serious discussion. Almost every serial killer has suffered some kind of reprisal, has gone through something. Especially when he was growing up, when he was a child and was developing his personality. I don't think anything justifies evil in the world, especially that of serial killers, right? Who kill in large numbers, but I believe that evil comes in degrees. Obviously, there are exceptions. There are people who are born evil, yes, but usually when a person is out there doing things, right? Your personality ends up experiencing some kind of evil, and the person will carry that and it will show in their life. On August 30, 1982, John Venables was born, and on August 23, 1982, Robert Thompson was also born. Both of them lived in the same area in Bottle near Liverpool in the United Kingdom. They studied at the same school called Walton Primary School. At age 10, both already had issues. Skipping classes, fighting, and committing small thefts at school. Still, they were very close friends. Robert was seen as a leader at school, colder and more dominant, while John was seen as more insecure and highly impressionable. He always followed Robert and did whatever Robert asked. On February 12, 1993, on a Friday, the two left home without their parents' supervision, and they went to a mall called New School. There, they stole several random items, including blue paint and batteries, and it was also there that they found James Bulger, a 2-year-old child who was next to his mother. In fact, the mall cameras recorded the moment when they took the child by the hand and left, and the mother didn't see it. For 2 hours, they walked almost 4 kilometers with the child, committing various acts of torture against him. Along the way, they hit him, threw blue paint and stones at the child, and did other cruel things. With the battery as well, and finally with an iron bar, they finished him off. Afterwards, they put the body on the train tracks to make it look like an accident, and the child's body was only found days later. The security footage helped identify them, and they became the youngest murderers convicted of homicide in the 20th century in the United Kingdom. They were also released in the 2000s, and they also received new identities and judicial protection. But John was even arrested years later for possession of illegal and unpublished material. The cameras showed two 10-year-old boys taking a child. Guys, when you see this, you wonder what's going to happen, and they led the child to their death. It's really sad. On the night of July 20, 1999, Lionel Alexander Tati, a 12-year-old boy, was at his mother's house, Kathleen Grosset. They lived in Pembroke Park, Florida, in the United States. His mother was the babysitter of a 6-year-old child named Tiffany Unique. Tiffany was at their house, and his mother left the kids playing while she watched television downstairs. So the kids were playing upstairs and she was downstairs. Around 10 p.m., Lionel came downstairs and told her that Tiffany wasn't breathing. When the paramedics arrived after his mother called them, Tiffany was already lifeless. The body had fractures, lacerations on the liver, a broken rib, and more than 30 internal injuries. The force of the injuries was consistent with a fall from the 20th floor and therefore consistent with a brutal beating. Lionel told the police that they were play wrestling and that he was imitating the moves he saw on television shows. He also claimed that at one point he accidentally jumped over her and fell. But the medical examiners concluded that whether by a fall or by playing, this couldn't have happened. Several extremely violent blows were delivered. The defense insisted that it was a simple childhood accident, a tragic outcome caused by playing around and roughhousing, right? He saw it on television and wanted to do it. In March 2000, Lionel was sentenced to life in prison. He avoided the death penalty only because he was a minor and received a sentence without parole. And he was the youngest person ever sentenced to life in prison in the history of the United States to this day, okay? He was only 14 years old when he heard the sentence. The case also triggered international debates about media influence, right? With violence against children, the responsibilities of parents regarding this, and whether it was ethical to sentence a child with the same responsibilities as an adult. After 3 years in prison, the Florida Court of Appeals reversed his conviction. That's because they claimed that Lionel didn't understand the consequences of his trial when he made the confessions. He was released on probation in 2004 at 17 under strict police supervision, but the story didn't end there. In 2005, Lionel was arrested again for assaulting a police officer and carrying a knife, violating his probation. He was released, and a year later, again, in 2006, he went back to prison. That's because he committed an armed robbery. So guys, this kid was a problem. I think he really was. To this day, he was sentenced to 10 years, but after 12 years, it seems, he was released and now he's free. There you go. In life, guys, we might run into him on the corner. That's a possibility. That's just how it is. Turbulent stories. Today, I wanted to bring this new long video format where I make this list and present it to you in a more summarized way. I think it's cool. I'll bring more videos like this and also videos focusing on one case for more detail. Let's do it. Which case surprised you most? I'll make a video about it with all the details. There are many sad cases, but that's today's reality. Well, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for always being here, always liking, always watching, and bringing engagement. If you haven't liked this video yet, go ahead and leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, turn on the notification bell so YouTube will always let you know. You'll always be among the first to know when I post a new video. Also, follow me on my other social media linked in this video's description. Thank you for staying with me until now. If you're still here, comment potato so I know. This is the last video with potato as the word. I'll change it later since you'll catch on and comment on all the videos. See you next time. A kiss to each of your hearts. I'm out.